Hello, everyone. This is Whitney Will from Star Hearth Astrology. And it's a full moon in Virgo. God, I love a Virgo moon. I don't love full moons. Full moons are so busy. And so this is like, okay, so we're like in all of the brain fog of a Pisces season that has Jupiter with Neptune. They're approaching a conjunction. We've got Mercury in here. We are out at sea in our imaginations, in our fantasies, whatever we're trying to like push ourselves to see really clearly. We can't do it. We can't do it. And so then we have a full moon. And what full moons do is they remind us that our current situation is not going to last. Because what full moons do is they take the sun that's like, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm focused on, and they put it in opposition to the moon, right? The moon grows in her power. She's, right, we had a new moon. We're like, okay, we're just trucking along with this new moon, building stuff up. And then it grows into a full moon. And the full moon is where we realize we can go no farther in the direction that we're going. Hence why full moons tend to be emotional. But I think the emotions are the response to the tension, right? It's a lot of tension in a full moon. And so I've already had like a whole bunch of people schedule with me this week. And then a whole bunch of people say, this week is too busy. I need to cancel because I'm too busy. And I'm like, yeah, because it's the week of the full moon, because we're all super busy on the week of the full moon. And this week, I think particularly sees a little bit of the like frenetic busyness because we're in Pisces land, swimming around, and then we've got this Virgo moon. And so the moon goes into Virgo on Tuesday night. And so for most of the week, we have the moon in Virgo, and then the full moon happens late on Thursday night. So technically on Friday. And so it kind of builds to Thursday. And a Virgo full moon is about finding a way. It's about remembering that, yes, your fantasies and your visions are powerful leaders, but our bodies exist in the world and we have to find the ways from point A to B. And sometimes we need to find a path instead of just trusting that our wandering will lead us there. And so the Virgo full moon is a reminder of that. It can feel stressful. If you know any Virgo moons, they are always stressed out. Sometimes Gemini moons too. I mean, Mercury ruling the moon pumps a lot of frenetic stuff into the moon. A lot of figuring out, a lot of obsessing, a lot of like combing over details, right? And so we're getting that kind of memory. The moon is saying like, hey, wait a second, guys. Hey, wait a second, Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, Sun in Pisces. You can get caught up in your holy longing, but the earth is right here, and that it's just as full with numinous and divine energy as your memory of union with the divine, as your memory of the womb-like space of unity with your mother or God or whatever spiritual or psychological approach you want to take to that. Let's look at the chart of this full moon. So this full moon happens at 12:15 a.m. Pacific time. So right, that is going to be 1:15 a.m., 2:15 a.m., 3:15 a.m. In the different time zones in the US. So we have the moon opposite the sun at 27 degrees and 40 arc minutes of Virgo. We have the sun over there in Pisces. They are both trining one of the nodes and sextiling the other one, which I think is an interesting pattern. So if you see, we've got the moon sextiling the south node that the sun trines. We have the sun sextiling the north node that the moon is in a trine relationship with. And so this full moon, I think, kind of brings us into the language of the nodes, but not the same way that the Leo full moon that squared the nodes did. This one is a little bit gentler. This one is a little bit more relaxed. We also have it happening in earth signs and water signs, and earth and water signs are going to move more slowly. So what we're figuring out with this full moon may emerge more slowly, more intuitively, more from the body, less from the mind. It may be this moment of the bubble popping and kind of coming down to earth, but not in a super harsh way, right? We also have the moon trine Pluto. So there's a transformative aspect to this moon as well. And it's not, there's grace to that with that trine makes the changes easier to integrate, but they're also going to be practical because they're happening in earth signs. So this is not like, I feel like I need to head in this direction. No, this is like, I need to make this change and I'm going to do it, and I see it clearly. And we've got this grand trine between the north node and the moon and Pluto. That's like, okay, how do we bring ourselves along to where we're trying to go? How do we understand this north node in Taurus? What is it asking for more of, right? More safety, more stability, more connection with the land, better relationship with food, more food. So we've got kind of those pieces. We have the sun in Pisces in a trine to the south node that can be bogged down with the feelings and the worries of the past, that can be trying to heal old wounds. And the moon in the earth sign is more rooted in what do we do about that now? Now, if we look at other things going on that aren't necessarily aspecting the moon and the sun themselves, we see that we have Venus pushing up against a square to Uranus. And so, right, the fact that this is perfecting, it perfects the day after the full moon. So on Saturday, early in the morning or late on Friday night, this aspect will perfect. And so this is a kind of like new things coming out of nowhere. This is a surprise aspect, right? When we've got Venus and Uranus and Venus ruling Uranus, we've got some unexpected changes, which can just do with the change in plans that day, trying something new in your relationships. I noticed that for me, Venus does seem to correspond with money and finances. So it can be an unexpected hiccup. It could be, or it could be something helpful, right? But there's a surprise aspect to that. And I think if we are feeling too kind of oppressed and worn down and wound down, there's a kind of bucket attitude that comes out of this, where Venus is just going to make a break for it. She cannot handle the oppressiveness anymore. And so that can be kind of sudden ruptures. So that's also something to be aware of. And it gets contained in this chart for the next 2 weeks until we have the Aries new moon on the 31st, on March 31st. That's what we got. So we got, it's maybe a little bit of a frustrating full moon because again, we are trying to understand and map out the boundlessness of Pisces. We have the ruler of the sun right there in Pisces. We have the ruler of the moon also in Pisces. So Pisces is going to win out at the end of the day with this one. Yeah, but that Virgo moon is going to struggle to try and organize it and try and feel like it's under control. So just take some deep breaths, write in your notebook, make those, use this potent earth energy to make plans, to make changes, to understand what practically comes out of all of this. And that's what I have for you. Happy full moon. I'm taking signups for my astrology class called Practice Astrology Together. It is a group format class where we go over the current transits, we bring them into our charts, we check in about how the current astrology is manifesting in our lives. It's super fun, it's super collaborative. We have a wonderful group of people that are currently participating, and I'd love to have some new faces join us. So you can find all the information for that through my website, starheartastrology.com. Thanks, everyone.